Well, even with all the buildings along the Las Vegas Strip and all the action here, this is one of the city's biggest attractions. Allegiant Stadium opened back in 2020.
Tonight, we finish off Week 4 with a good Monday night matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Las Vegas Raiders. Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports.
And he opts to not bring this one out. The first drive will start at the 25. They'll run with Taylor to begin the drive.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard. If you start assessing what went wrong last week, Charles, in their loss, had nothing to do with the ground game. They ran it well.
And you also have to say to yourself as a team, don't go away from what worked. That's not the reason the game was lost. Running the football over time, when you do it consistently, usually translates into wins.
And they're hoping to do it consistently here.
Second down, another run with Taylor. And this defense able to plug him up there as he'll get a yard to the 35. Well, this defense for the Raiders, they really played well a week ago in that win over the Jets.
And no matter what's done throughout a ball game, it always comes back to blocking and tackling. That's the essence of football. But I think it's hard for people to understand just how difficult it is to tackle, especially open field. Very few missed tackles on tape that I saw last game. This team does a nice job of getting their opponents on the ground.
Lawrence on the sneak.
I don't know about you, but I like this call. 3rd and inches, and instead of worrying about getting it back to a running back and maybe there's some penetration from the defensive front, just go ahead and take it, move forward, and pick up the first down.
And as we say often, shows confidence in your offensive line. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Running straight ahead, Taylor.
And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Part of their struggles last week was getting these negative plays on 1st and 2nd down. That's something they have to be wary of as this game continues.
So after the loss of a yard, they'll look to push forward here on 2nd down and 11.
And now they'll throw it with Lawrence.
That's caught by the big tight end, O.J. Howard. So 8 yards on the completion there, and now it's 3rd and 3.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
Nice job there, forcing that incompletion. This is going to be a fun battle throughout this game. Watching him try to take away that area of the field.
Tressway on 4th down is sent out to punt.
And just a single punt for him in the loss last week as he sends this one away. Call that a 44-yard punt, 5 on the return.
And it'll be Raiders football, 1st and 10.
Watson off play action. He rifles one that's intercepted.
Picked off by Lewis.
And his guys are going to get the football at the 28-yard line.
So this is something we didn't see at all from this offense in the victory last week. That's a turnover. They didn't have any, but giving the ball away here in the opening quarter.
I love the surprise in your voice because it's exactly what you stated. Didn't see it last week, but it was a key to their win. And it'll be a key to this game as well, protecting the football. Didn't get it done there.
2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
On 2nd and 12, Lawrence. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it brings up 3rd and 5 now. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
They had great starting position to begin the drive, but now they look up at a 3rd and 5.
Up the middle, here's Taylor.
And he'll have the first down, getting this one to the 14-yard line. Got what they needed there. The drive continues with a 9-yard pickup.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and putting the defense back on its heels.
Back to Taylor on first down.
And this time not as successful as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Calling no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Forced out to his left. And he wisely will throw that one away.
This is where good coaching and execution come into play, because down this close, you absolutely don't want to turn it over. Good job keeping that in mind as he escaped, bought time, and decided throwing it away was his best option.
They had the incomplete pass on 2nd down. Now they need a big play here, 3rd and
10. Looking to throw, Lawrence.
Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
That's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
Butker's kick here is good, and the Dolphins will jump out to a 3-0 lead.
So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so it shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away, but they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves. Well, they certainly came out firing in this one, and while that one was incomplete, I can't imagine that'll be the last shot that they take in this game.
A first carry here for Joe Mixon.
He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage.
Throwing on third down, Watson.
And that is knocked away in the middle of the field and incomplete.
That looks like it's going to be 2 empty possessions now to start this football game. I think they're going to have to sit down and talk about what worked for them last week in their win. Sometimes you over-game plan, overthink things. Get back to what works.
So on fourth down, here's Johnny Hecker to punt it away. He was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. Taken from just outside the 30. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair. You don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10.
Now a handoff. Taylor with it.
And down to the 44, 5 yards that time.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure you're back. You spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
2nd down, another run with Taylor.
And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
You think about this strong safety position, and they're the more bulkier guys in the free safety, but that time great athleticism to hustle in and break up that play.
And sometimes all of your best laid plans of play design, your X's and O's, they can't always account for individual effort defensively. And this was one of those times. Just a terrific play to hustle over there and get the running back to the ground.
Now Lawrence to throw. Into a sea of defenders and intercepted.
Teron Johnson able to pick it.
And the Raiders are going to take over here up near the 40.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
The offense for Las Vegas about set to begin the drive. They're still in search of an initial 1st down as they come up here 1st and 10. Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And some room to run now.
And good vision there as he's across midfield and down to the 45-yard line.
16 yards right off the bat and a 1st down.
A big hole there. How about him handling the point of attack? Just positioning himself so that run could go right off of his backside and deep into the secondary.
Back to Mixon on 1st down. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
The Raiders at 3-0 here in the month of September. They coming on a pretty good roll here. Winners of 3 straight.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
That's caught by his tight end, Dawson Knox.
He'll get it inside the 20.
And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. Getting it to him in space pays off big time. That winds up going for 31.
And as you saw right there, this is a guy with pretty good speed for a tight end. Nice job there, catching the short throw and turning it upfield. He can also be a weapon downfield as well.
Mixon with a 1st down carry. Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those 3 guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5-on-3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, They're able to just roam and hit.
That is caught at the 7-yard line. A gain of 8 there on the play. And now 1 yard to go on 3rd down.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there? Freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1.
Here's Watson on the sneak. And he won't have the touchdown, but he will have the first down as he's tackled at the 2. Just a yard, but that's all they needed. And by the slimmest of margins, it'll be 1st and goal. Second quarter, 2 minutes remain. 3-0 our score. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside.
Watson going to try and run it.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Kept it in his hands and tried to push it across the goal line himself, but the defense in front wouldn't allow him to do so, bringing up 2nd down and a bit farther.
So they're backed up to the 3-yard line, 2nd and goal. Mixon trying to punch it in, and he is going to lose yardage here. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Can they reverse the trend on 3rd and goal with the last 2 plays having gone backwards? On 3rd, here's an option play right. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 10-yard line. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next.
McPherson's kick is good.
And that will tie us at 3-3.
So the defense able to force the interception, and the offense working their way to field goal range and able to get 3 out of it.
Yeah, and give them credit for that. They took the ball, maneuvered it downfield, and while they couldn't get exactly what they wanted, which was a touchdown, they did get 3 points out of it, so they paid off what the defense gave them. Both sides to be thrilled with that.
The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive.
And we'll see if they can bounce back from that last drive. In particular, if they can bounce back at the quarterback position, Charles, after throwing their first interception of the ball game.
Yeah, and some guys, you know they're going to want to try and get a big play right away and take control back. Others, they're going to look to hit a couple shorter passes, get a little momentum back that way.
But for the defense, that goal's not changing a bit. They want another pick.
You're exactly right about that. In fact, you've got to watch them a little bit because in coverage, they may cut down their gaps a little bit, maybe their splits a little bit in order to try and get to the ball even faster.
On 1st and 10, it's Lawrence.
And he's left with no option here but to throw it away.
Well, congratulations to them. They come through defensively with another stop. And let's face it, this secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the first half.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Now Lawrence.
And he fires one that's intercepted. The ball comes out, but this will get out of bounds, so possession will stay the same.
You can almost see inside his face mask there the look of relief. He coughed it up, but it goes out of bounds. They keep it.
Someone came around the lucky horseshoe, aren't they? If I were him, I'd go and play the lottery after that one. A very fortunate man.
And they're operating in plus territory here. They're thinking points. Definitely don't want to lose the football at this juncture.
Running left, it's Mixon. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Here's Watson now on 2nd down. They'll set up the screen here to Mixon. They get 7 there on the screen. It'll set up a 3rd down. The Raiders going to use one of their timeouts as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half.
And that doesn't have to gain big yardage to be an impactful play, because if you can get those pass rushers second-guessing themselves that they might get hit with a screen, maybe you can wind up slowing them down just a step. And if you do that, that's a win for that play.
Watson on 3rd down.
He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted.
Picked off by Jair Alexander. And he will bring it back. It's a pick 6 and a Dolphins touchdown. 3rd down, passing down. They throw the extra defensive back in there for a nickel package, and it worked out.
And it's not anything that you would think is just great strategy. It's just that when you have 5 defensive backs on the field and an obvious passing down, it's a lot tougher to complete a pass. And on that play, they completed it just to the wrong team, and it cost them 6 points.
Extra point by Butker is on target.
And the lead is now 10-3.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. Cordero Patterson to return it, bringing it out of the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. The Las Vegas offense ready to start this next drive.
And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
That's good for Las Vegas. 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Watson now to throw. Gonna look deep for Wilson. And that is incomplete.
The offense schemed going 5 wide, trying to create a chance for the big shot, and they took it. If he comes down with that one, that's a huge offensive swing. But credit the defense with a nice play, knocking that one away.
And they line up now for what will likely be the last play of the first half.
Not wanting to take a chance this time, they'll keep it on the ground.
And he's going to be taken down here as that will lead us to the end of the first half of play. So we've reached halftime here, and it's the visiting Dolphins taking a lead to the locker room. As we send you to our EA studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. The Raiders are going to have it first, and they trail here as we get back to it in this 3rd quarter of action. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. Well, Charles, we saw a pretty entertaining first half, close ball game. Remember there toward the end of the second quarter, the opposition scored to take the lead. Now we'll see if these guys can get a score of their own to regain that lead.
Yeah, they want to have that type of a response, don't they? Because they want to find a way to take control of this ball game one more time. Gauntlet's been thrown down. They want to see if they're ready to answer it.
After the penalty, it's Mixon. They find some open field here. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. Call it a gain of 12, but of course not a first down due to the previous penalty. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Again, it's Mixon. And some space here. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 51 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries.
That's pretty much meat and potatoes right there, wasn't it? Just go right at him and let your big horse charge up the middle. Not too fancy there, was it?
Nothing fancy at all, challenging that defense. And on that go-around, the offense won the challenge. From the gun, a give to Mixon. And he's swallowed up right near the line of scrimmage. Jonathan Hankins in on the stop. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like even if he had opted to keep that, I don't think there was going to be much to gain.
Seemed like it was perfectly defense. And know what they say? Those guys on the other side, they get paid too.
Now the Dolphins are going to halt the action here. It's a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Here's 2nd and 10. A handoff running left, Mixon. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
I see a shake of the head as he gets up, and you've got to imagine he's thinking, guys, you got to help me out. He's hoping his team can read his thoughts because he definitely needs some assistance.
Faking the give, now Watson. And this one is incomplete.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Dolphins drive will start deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. We have not seen much on offense here from either side these last few drives. We've hit a wall, so to speak.
And have hit it hard, haven't we? Because the defenses right now, they seem to be a step ahead, don't they? Beating them to the point of attack, beating them to the punch. These offensive guys, they're tinkering like crazy. What's it going to take to get back on track?
Yeah, both sides searching for adjustments. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Again, it's Taylor. And he tried to bounce it outside, but they'll stop him behind the line. They wind up losing a couple there, so they go behind the original line of scrimmage, and now 3rd and 11 coming up.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
Whenever we talk about moving the sticks and controlling the football, there's a great example right there. Those are the third downs you need to convert to win football games. We're in the third quarter of this one, and this is a tight one. In order to maintain pace, keep the ball away from the other team, and put points on the board, those are the plays they need to continue to convert.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. On third down, Lawrence. He's able to find Melton. And he gets us to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on third down.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown.
Jonathan Taylor with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Dolphins are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter. Extra point by Butker is on target.
And the lead is now 17-3.
Raiders 3.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken.
The Raiders take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The offense for Las Vegas about set to begin the drive. The last series for them, a little disappointing, forced to punt. And now they'll try to do better here and come away with some points as they begin this drive, 1st and 10.
And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. 1 quarter remains here as we wrap up the week. Back now in Las Vegas. Welcome back, everybody. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Off of play action, it's Watson.
And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked off by J.C. Horn.
And he will bring it back. It's a pick 6 and a Dolphins touchdown.
Well, this defense just continuing to do their thing, and now they add on to that lead with another pick 6.
And how about the way they've played this entire game? Not only have they put their stamp on it, but every time they try and mount an offensive challenge, they find a way to thwart it. And multiple pick 6s, oh yeah, they'll enjoy watching this tape after the game.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away.
And Patterson will not return it. It comes out to the 25. The Las Vegas offense ready to start this next drive. Remember, they have won 3 straight, but getting to 4 straight does not appear to be in the cards as they are in a big 4th quarter hole.
I give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
4 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6.
Watson now going to run the option right.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
And that one will go for 13 yards on the keeper and a first down.
Well, I tell you, there is no antidote for speed, even at the quarterback position, as he keeps it himself and turns it into good yardage.
And it still takes time for a defender to react, even as quarterbacks carry the ball more and more in today's NFL. They're still a little bit in disbelief and realize, oh my goodness, he's running with the ball. He may be 8, 10, 12 yards downfield at that point.
66 yards rushing for him now to this point.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
The Dolphins going to take their second timeout. That's going to leave them with just one remaining here in this fourth quarter. They still need about the length of the football here, maybe a little less as they come up on 2nd and inches. They'll try the air now with Watson. He gets this in the hands of Mixon.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45.
That's a pretty play there coming out of the backfield, but as that back, you've got to be conscious of making sure you're securing the football. When you get out in open field, sometimes you get a little loose with it as you're trying to get up ahead of steam. Make sure you keep it close to your body because those defenders are trying to punch it free. He does a nice job there protecting the ball and picking up a first down.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. They'll fake the handoff. Now Watson. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Mixing up the middle. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this 3rd down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stuffed them for almost no gain.
Desperation time. Watson on 4th down. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Picked off by Jair Alexander. And he will bring it back. It's a pick 6 and a Dolphins touchdown. Little choice, Charles, but to go for it right there, and that pick 6 will be the icing on the cake.
Yeah, you don't know how many more possessions you're going to get, so really you're almost at the point of no option. Have to go for it. Bottom line, though, is defenders know that as well. They know you've got to throw the football. Had the right defense called, it will make a nice play on the ball. And that's all she wrote.
So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air.
Fair catch made at the 25-yard line. The Raiders take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Raider offense set to get this drive started. And you can sort of sense their dejection. That last pick 6 put the icing on the cake, so to speak, in what has been a rough go for them. That's to about the 28. 2nd down coming up.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. They'll stay on the ground. Mixon again. And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down.
They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. A gain of 4 that time as the drive will continue.
Well, someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? A lot has been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. It's Mixon on the counter. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38.
You know, it's not just all athleticism from defensive linemen. Let's give them a little credit for their football intelligence as well. Read and react by them, understood the play call, and stacked it up and stuffed the run.
On second down, here's Mixon. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. A gain of 2 there on the heels of a 1-yard pickup on first.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first 2 plays. Didn't amount to much.
And now facing a 3rd and long at the outset of this drive. And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts. It'll be their 3rd and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside. Here's Johnny Hacker now as he's on to punt for Las Vegas. An excellent return that time, 26 yards. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. They came into this one with a vision, Charles, and it has played out exactly as they had hoped, if not even better. They've got the huge lead here, and now the football for the final moments of the 4th.
Yeah, it was apparent that they were the better team, right? We figured that out pretty early. But give them a lot of credit for staying with it. They didn't stumble around out there. They didn't create a lot of errors for themselves because they were the superior team. They took care of business and closed them out pretty quickly.
Well, this was a very close ball game at halftime, Charles, but in the second half, that offense kind of kicked things into another gear, and they were able to pull away for the victory.
And Brandon, I think they're the type of team that just looked at the mirror and said, hey, ton of pressure on, but we're the type of team that can flat out handle it. They stood up with confidence, and made it happen for a victory.
So for the Dolphins, it'll be a 500 start as the win gets them back to 2-2. And they'll be back home next week to take on the Denver Broncos.
Meanwhile, for Las Vegas,
the defeat is their first of the year as they drop to 3-1. And they'll try to get back to their winning ways next week as they head to KC to take on the Chiefs.